I've been aware of Kinji Fukasaku's films for a while. I have to say that it wasn't until I went to Japan that I was like introduced in a big way to Fight Without Jingy 1, 2, and 3. All right, and I think he did 6 of those or something like that. But it's like the first 3. It was there when I really started getting into the backbone of his work. But I've been a fan of his for a long time. And actually, it's funny because on one hand, we're saying, oh, this is really great. He's getting this recognition out here now, and it is because he wasn't really known by name that much. Just as far as Western audiences were concerned. I go to Japan and they're going to set me up to have dinner with him, and it's like, oh, you're meeting one of the greatest directors that we have, and this is such a big deal. But Black Lizard actually had a re-release, all right, in America, in the art house circuit in the early 90s. I mean, around 92, actually, around the time of Reservoir Dogs, around 92. It had gotten rediscovered. All right, and it played on the film festival circuit, and it got a release. Not just in Los Angeles, New York, around and whatever. And so it's like, that's pretty. That's still more representation, all right, that most Japanese directors get out here, especially for an older film too.
これでええんじゃろうか。
そうそう。それで体の重みでいっぺんに押しゃええんよ。
病院連れてしかし指がないぞ。何
My message would be this, I'm making it a point to kind of stay in Los Angeles towards the end of January so I can, go see some of the films. The point is he's a terrific filmmaker, and this is it's kind of a big deal. This is a big deal that they've spent the money to strike new prints and have a and so they're all subtitled, and you can see them in a great environment, and it's just like, if you miss it now, you'll miss it for a while. All right, it's like, it doesn't happen that often. All right, they've made a big effort to do this. I remember, I think they might have struck new prints recently or something like that, but I heard that the first big retrospective that they did of his work was at the Locarno Film Festival about a year ago. That's when all this started happening. I remember reading about it. I was like, oh man, they showed a retrospective of Kinji Fukasaku's work at the Locarno Film Festival. Those lucky dogs. All right, so now we're lucky dogs. My favorite movie is, I guess I would say the Yagyu Conspiracy. The movie that's part of the retrospective that the TV series, the Yagyu Conspiracy, was based on. Also, I love Fight Without Jingy, but also, and I kind of think of the Fight Without Jingy movies kind of together, at least the first 3. I love the fact that he uses Sonny Chiba, who I'm a big fan of. He uses him a lot. All right, and actually, my favorite movie by Kinji is not atypical. It's and it's not in the retrospective. It's Legend of the Seven. The English title. I don't know what the Japanese title was. Legend of the Eight Golden Samurai, or Legend of the Eight Samurai. I think Golden Samurai. And actually, what it is I thought he did this movie in the 70s, and then when Message from Space, then when Star Wars came out, they just rewrote it and did it as a Star Wars thing, which is what Message from Space is. And actually, it's the reverse. He had done actually Message from Space first, and then turned it into a samurai story that takes place in feudal times. All right? And I remember like even reading in a Japanese book, it's like a lot of like people who really are like samurai films don't like the movie. They think it's just like too kiddie or too non-traditional and everything. But it's just so much fun. It's so much fun. He literally, I mean, I thought it was this really cool samurai film that they twisted and turned to do his Star Wars homage, all right, but it actually started the other way around, which shows you where it's coming from. But it's really, really terrific. It's got some really, really good stuff in it.
おい敵しろバッカ早く早く
Yes, I think. I mean, I think in his gangster films, probably just more than anything else than just the attitude. All right, he doesn't romanticize his gangsters. I don't romanticize them either. They end up kind of becoming kind of romantic despite themselves. But it's not because we're trying to, clean up after them or present them in this different way. I guess we are presenting them in a different way, but we're not trying to clean up their image when we're presenting it to you. We're just showing them warts and all, brutality and all, but then you still get them.
まあまあまあ、こういうようなことはせえでもええに。のう山森さん、たかが若い者同士がやりおったことでどっちことはねえで。それにのう、今度のことはこの上田が悪いんじゃ。水流して使え。そう言ってもらあ、わしらの方は。まあまあ、これはの、そちらで手厚に葬って使え。さしょうじゃが、これは埋葬料の足しにしての。
いやそがなことしても
まあまあいいじゃないの。これをしようにの、あんたの力添えでこのボンクラを男にしてもらえありがたいんじゃがの。わしは知っての通り表に立たやりしてるで、あんたは一番の頼りじゃ。わしでお役に立つことだったら何でも言うてつかさい。おい、
おじきさん、ご一途さん、一つよろしゅう頼みます。
Well, actually, it was funny. I wasn't walking around thinking about anything like that, but you know what? I would have to say, in that one I was talking about, like the Legend of the Seven Golden Samurai, Tsuchiyomi. I think her name is in Japan, Iisko Shiomi or something like that. But she's like this. She's one of the samurai, and she's this just killing machine. That's just what she does. She's an assassin. All right. And she comes across in a graveyard this other assassin, all right, that works for the opposite side. And they're going to kill each other, but they realize that they kind of love each other. There's this little thing, and then they don't see each other throughout the rest of the movie. And then they ultimately fight at the end, and they both give each other like killing blows, but they're not going to die right away. And now that they've kind of gotten their function in life out of the way, they can actually die together. All right, in a romantic Romeo and Juliet kind of way. And her little speech is just so cool, and it's just so neat, and I'm just the biggest fan of Tsuchiyomi. I just think she's so wonderful, and she kind of plays the Princess Leia character in Message from Space. And I love that scene. And also, actually, and speaking, okay, I'm just funny, I'm not talking about the gangster films, I'm talking about like the wild, crazy ones he did. But also in Message from Space, one of my favorite scenes that Vic Morrow did after combat is the scene in Message from Space where he's in the enemy camp, and they bring in one of the humans, all right, that's part of the kids hanging around, and the guy he's pleading for his life, and all the aliens are laughing, all right, at him, and Vic Morrow just chooses there's like 100 soldiers, and he just chooses one soldier out of all of 100 that were laughing. He just picks one and just says, "Don't you dare laugh at him. All right, I challenge you to a duel right now, all right, for laughing at this man, all right?" And then he has to kind of duel. Let's see if you get scared at this duel, all right? And the guy ends up being a coward, all right? And then like his emperor is so humiliated, the emperor of the aliens is so humiliated that he kills the guy, all right? And lets Vic Morrow. That's a great scene. It is a fantastic scene. It's so great. I remember when I was a kid seeing that movie at the theaters, and just all the kids like, "Whoa, that was something else." And Vic Morrow's the bomb in it. He's great. yeah, just go out and go see these brand new prints of these movies and enjoy.
スーパー
Welcome to America.